All right, so today I got another book review ish type of video. And I've already talked about a few books, and this one is really, really great for entrepreneurs. And I think it's great because this is a book that I don't think your average Black woman may have come across or known about. But that's why you got me, boo. Okay? Because I'll be all over the place. I'll be everywhere. I'll be all over the world. Okay? All right, all right. So today I am recording from my daughter's room. So I'm in a different place using a different device. I normally use my trusty Android here, but I've got notes on here, so I needed to record from my iPhone. So let me know. Do you like the quality of this better, or do you like the good old trusty? All my other videos are pretty much with that one, unless I say otherwise. So is it the Android? Does it win, or does the iPhone win for the quality? Or do you not even notice the difference and don't care? So just let me know. So that book is Nomad Capitalist by Andrew Henderson. Love the guy. I follow him on YouTube. Um, and he kept talking about the fact that he has a book. Whenever I was getting all that great advice or insight into different things, so I was like, yeah, let's do that. Let me get that book. So I have it right here. See? And as you can see, I have 100% completed that book. Um, I love this because it speaks to what it is that I am looking to help women do online. So I'm looking to help you do more than just figure out how to make money online. There are tons of people out here trying to show you how to do that, tons of content about how to do that. And that's part of why I went ahead and did a lot of content on how to do that right here on YouTube. So you can see how to do it for free, right? No more gatekeeping. So there's more to it than that though. There's more to it than just figuring out what you're going to create online, what you're going to sell and how you're going to sell it. There's more to it than that, right? It's how you operate your business. It's how you automate your business, and it's certainly what to do with the revenue. More importantly, with the profits that you start bringing in from your business. What do you do with that? And that is something that I don't see get talked about enough, especially in the Black community and especially amongst Black women. Um, it's hard enough just to talk about financial literacy amongst us, right? So to not only talk about that, but also talk about entrepreneurship and financial literacy when it comes to business. Like, what? Like, it's just totally out of the box. And we don't really think about that. We've been told for such a long time to just, go with the flow, go with the status quo. Go out there, get good grades so people know you're smart and you can read. You know, you're reading, writing, arithmetic, right? And then, get into college. Uh, get a scholarship though, because we ain't got no money to pay for you, right? And that's not all Black families, because it's certainly that wasn't my family, but I was just saying that that's what gets talked about a lot, right? And not knowing, because you don't get taught this in school, and for a lot of Black folks, they haven't gotten taught this at home. But simple things like writing a check, balancing your checkbook back in the day, now it's pretty simple because it's online. Or things like, you know, understanding credit, um, budgeting in a wise way, not from a scarcity mindset. So it's so many different things. Investment vehicles. So I was really excited when I came across Andrew Henderson because I know that there's some groups of people in this country who understand wealth a little bit more because it got talked about more. Whether they were wealthy or not is not my point. It's the fact that though there were more conversations than what we've ever had. And so it was cool to kind of look around and go outside of, what we used to and what feels safe, and start looking at other areas where they actually have the information I was looking for. Okay. So came across Andrew Henderson, and I don't even remember how. I don't even remember how. I just know I was on YouTube, and I found him, and he was so refreshing to witness and to watch. And I got to go to one of his Nomad Capitalist live events. I'm about to do the Annis in Malaysia. Sure, I'm making plans. So anyway, um, when I open up the book, oh, it opened me up to the last page. I was trying to go back. Okay. So y'all know what I like to do because I don't like to give away everything that was in the book. I really encourage you to read it for yourself. But I will go through that table of contents for you though. So uh he's got his introduction, and then he's got chapter 1 is the 5 magic words. And I'm gonna go ahead and spoil that one for you because he says it all the time on his channel, which is go where you're treated best. And that is one of the things that I like to touch on my channel is you ain't got to keep taking this. You ain't got to keep enduring and struggling and all of that. These things that have been passed on to us, especially being Black women, we've gone through that a lot of having to struggle, having to power through, having to get resourceful, having to make way, make do, rob Peter, pay Paul, like all of that. Girl, you ain't gonna do that. What we can do is go where we're treated best, whether that's in a personal relationship or that's in your relationship with your home country. You can go make a new home. You can do that if you want to. And maybe you growing your business is more than just making some extra money to pay your bills. Maybe it's going to create an entire shift in your life and in uh your future for yourself and the folks that come after you, right? Your descendants. So if that's what you're starting to think about, um then this would definitely be a great book for that because I believe this is definitely something that should be added on once you are now, you're making money. Your goal is to start generating some level of wealth, and you just want to make sure that you're doing things wisely, doing things that make sense, and also learning about some things that maybe you didn't know about before. So, yeah, chapter 1 is the 5 magic words. Then he goes into how to go where you're treated best. Then he goes into the location independent lifestyle, second passports, renouncing US citizenship because he actually has done that quite some time ago. Love and family on the road. Nomad healthcare, offshore banking, offshore companies and tax savings, foreign asset storage. Then we get into investing overseas, cryptocurrency, the final frontier, conquering dogma. And then we get into the nomad mindset and how to get started and a summary. So, and just real quick, chapter 12, which is about cryptocurrency, it's not, hey, get into crypto today. I got this amazing opportunity for you to sign up for. It's not that. um, he goes into talking about cryptocurrency as an investment. He's not trying to get you to get anything or do anything. As a matter of fact, he even mentions, cryptocurrency isn't for everybody. Some people don't want to have any parts of it, don't want nothing to do with it, and that's totally okay. So, it's really a comprehensive look at, well, not even comprehensive. It's just kind of like going into if you are somebody that's in the crypto, here are some things that you want to consider as you become that nomad capitalist. And one of the things that really stuck out for me, I think what initially grabbed my attention about Andrew was the fact that he renounced his citizenship. And I think that's the first person I ever heard had actually done that. And I'm like, it sounds scary. Was it? What did you go through? What did you do? And he kind of goes into detail about it in the book, where I haven't really seen him go into detail about it in videos. he mentions it in videos, and um he shares a little bit about it, but I don't know, it was something about the book where he really went into it, and then also talked about for you, what could it look like for you. And I don't know. I haven't made my final decision just yet, but I have considered that. I'm still contemplating pros and cons to that. And figuring out, like, when I look at the cons, are there things I can do to turn the cons into pros? So for example, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't want to leave my family behind." Well, is there a way that you would be able to move your whole family out of the country with you? And then eventually everybody who wants to renounce can renounce. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different things to consider when it comes to that. But I mean, you don't have to. There are ways for you to be able to reduce your taxes, for example, without having to renounce. Um, so if those are the reasons, if it's just that you want to renounce for taxes, or you want to renounce because you're just mad at who's the president right now, that's probably not good reasons for you to renounce. But I have much deeper reasons for why I would do it if I do decide to do it. Okay. So keep you posted on that. But yeah, this book is absolutely amazing. And just kind of, I don't know, it's some things like, first of all, the introduction grabbed me because I was like, hold up, shuttles are for who? Oh, where we going with this, Andrew? Right? So that was interesting, but it was insightful. And again, I don't want to give too much away. Like, read the book and contact me and let me know that you read it or what chapter you're on or whatever. But and don't give it away in the comments either. Please don't do that. Okay. But the five magic words, chapter one, the five magic words stuck out for me. It's the first thing that caught my attention by Andrew, and then the fact that he renounced was the very second thing right after. But I had to think about it. I was like, yeah, I can go where I'm treated best. I ain't got to take this, right? And that's that's honestly how I felt after I left an abusive relationship. I was like, I know I'm too good for this. Cheryl, I look too good for this. Okay. And me as a person, as a woman, um, I don't like, this isn't for me. And I know this cannot possibly be what God wanted for me. You know what I'm saying? So although I had good times, sometimes things are just for a season. And sometimes I just went and did whatever I wanted to do. And so when I realized I can go where I'm treated best, I did it and I left. And now that is becoming the feeling in my own country. It actually started, I had that feeling in my home state. I came to a realization I have outgrown this place. Like the whole damn state. I outgrew it. So now what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go? What do I want that would make me feel like I'm being treated better than I was back there? And again, it's not really anything against Maryland. I love Maryland. I was super close to Washington, D.C. My dad was, you know, a DC cop for decades. And um, I loved being there. But there were things about it that made me just feel like this isn't for me anymore and I need to go. And I started thinking about, like, where would I go? What do I want? What do I feel like would make me happy? And I took that all the way back to my childhood and things that just used to make me light up as a kid. And one of the things, I don't know what it is, and maybe I'll do a video about this. I want to do a separate video about this, about the things that make you feel wealthy, no matter how small or how crazy it might be. What makes you feel wealthy? For me, one of those things was palm trees. And I don't know if it came from me watching 90210 chair or what, but it's like, I was like, yes, darling, palm trees and sunshine. And even though I was born in the winter, I'm tired of snow. So just little things here and there. I started to think about little things as well as big things. And I wanted a house, and I had recently gotten married, and we were thinking about, like, where do we want our lives to officially start together? And it wasn't going to be there. At first, we were looking at places around there, and we're like, the cost of living is ridiculous. Don't even really, like, I could take this place or leave it. So what if we leave it? What is out there? What will make us feel like we're being treated better? And we chose Nevada. Um, it was actually my husband's idea to move to Vegas, and I was like, "People live in Vegas?" Excuse me. And so we looked, and we live about, I don't know, 10 minutes from the strip. So it's far enough away where it's not like noise and lights everywhere, but it's close enough that when it's New Year or Fourth of July or whatever, that we have such a beautiful view of the fireworks straight from our bedroom window. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, and it had the sunshine and the palm trees, just like I wanted. We were out west as opposed to the whole East Coast vibe. It was a different vibe, more laid back vibe, and I thought we would have to go all the way to California for that. But no, we're right next to California. That's good enough. I think we're about, how far is it? 30 minutes from the California border or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, my point is, like, we had what we were looking for. We wanted a nice, spacious home if we could help it. We didn't necessarily want to get an apartment. And that's funny because now, when we're looking at places to live, when we decide we're ready to globetrot and do a little slow travel, um, and starting with Southeast Asia, most likely, that we would want to be in condos out there, but here we wanted a home, we want a house. Um, I definitely love the dry weather. I know a lot of people don't like it, can't stand it. And yes, when we first moved here, our bodies had to adjust to it being dry versus the humidity that you would get on the East Coast in places like Maryland and stuff. So, especially Florida, you know how that is. But because I would go there for summers as a kid, so I recall the humidity. I could handle it, but it's definitely different from being out here. So yeah, your body adjusts after a few weeks, and then you're good. Um, so yeah, thinking about how I had left, I outgrew a state and moved to another state. And by the way, another great thing about Nevada is no state income tax. Yes. So that was a relief. um, but yeah, now I'm feeling like we've outgrown the United States. There's I don't know if I want to say there's bigger and better out there, but there's definitely variety. There's different. And I want to experience different. I want to embrace different cultures, different environments, different people, and be able to respect those differences and not criticize them or judge them. Those are things that I was looking for. So just in the first chapter of this book of going where you're treated best, um, I also felt that. I was like, I believe being in a different country and being who I am as a Black woman, I've been looking around YouTube as you may have, and you notice that there are Black women, there are Black couples, there are Black families that are being treated better in different places all around the globe. So this idea of why would you ever leave the States, and it's dangerous out there. This is the safest place you'll ever be in. You're Black, stay here, right? I think that's also a part of our trauma bonding, that we knew that it was best that we stick together, because when you think about slavery, when you think about um, Reconstruction, and when you think about Jim Crow, you knew, stick with your own, so that you could be safe and protected. And I think that has carried throughout generations. And one of the reasons why there's such a huge percentage of us that don't even have passports, and why we are so hesitant to travel out of the country. Um, you know, Sonny and I have family members who haven't ever really traveled off the East Coast, let alone out of the country. And it's like, y'all thinking about going out the country. Why you gonna do that? And it's like, you know, there's so many people out here in the world that are so much more cultured and have all of these world experiences. And we just sitting there continuing to live in some of the stereotypes that they expect. And even though they did this to us out of fear, they're kind of glad that we're not like having these different reformed ways of thinking and realizing we could be cultured. We could have a classy way of going out and traveling the world and experiencing the world without the world taking advantage of us. So we can definitely go and live in different places and be able to enjoy it and be treated in a way that we're just so not used to here, even though here is our home. Isn't that crazy? So that really, that chapter shed some light for me, gave me some great insight just from chapter one and chapter two, because that was how to go where you're treated best. Um, having having a location independent lifestyle is very appealing to me. When I tell y'all I am a big fan of freedom, I'm talking freedom. I like control. I wouldn't say I'm a control freak. Maybe some people would, but I just really love to be in control. I love being free to make the choices that I want to make that feel right for me, and not being told I can't do it or not being forced into a different direction. So, location independent, I hadn't thought about that until recently. Like, I don't know, over the past couple of years. And to be able to travel to different countries and experience them and figure out, if I were to plant my flag somewhere else, where would it be? Well, I don't have to decide just yet. Let me go and, sample some countries like it's a buffet, and then I'll sit down at the table later and eat, like, I don't know, like, it's very exciting, very exciting. So he goes into that. And then, like I said, the chapter on renouncing US citizenship. Whew, that was a powerful chapter. And again, even if that's not something that you want to do, you still want to hold on to your US passport. I would do this. I would still get a second. And look, I'm learning this from Andrew. Trial, let me tell you, I would still get a second passport. And when traveling, if it make sure it's a strong second passport so that when you're traveling you can use that one, and you're only using your US passport when you're going into and out of the US, because you have to use your US passport for that. And other than that, use the second one. um I I love the idea of being able to choose, instead of me being born being the choice, right? My birth choosing what my home country is, and I get to decide and make a conscious decision for that. When I work not hard, but I work smart. I put in a lot of effort. I make sure to do my best. And so when I'm doing all of that, I want to make sure that when it comes time to pay taxes on that work that I did, that those taxes are going towards things that I believe in if I can help it. And if it's not, and I have the ability to choose something different, then I'm going to choose something different. You know, um, to me, it's a part of how I express having integrity. Okay. So yeah, really good book. Grab it. Tell me what you think about it. Like I said, I'm trying my best not to be giving too much away in the book. But yeah, this was definitely a pleasant surprise to stumble across Mr. Henderson and his channel and his book. So, very good read. And I was taking so many notes. And I know in the book he said, don't just write the notes down, go do it. Okay, I didn't do all the stuff he told me to go do. I did some of it. Does that count? But no, I didn't do all of it. Um, but I'm gonna read the book again at some point when I'm ready. There's a few things that I was just like, I need to take some things into consideration before I move on to like the next thing. Um, and before we actually pack up and get out of here. And then also, I don't know, I've also been thinking about how am I gonna feel when I get out of here? Is it gonna feel like a relief? Is it gonna feel like homesickness? Does this really feel like home enough for me to start feeling any kind of homesickness? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, that's it. But definitely read the book. Let me know how you feel about it. If you want to know about some more book recommendations that I have for various things, whether it's specifically about business, or if it's about finances, or if it's about credit, or if it's about spirituality and how to apply the word of God into your life, into your finances, into your business, like all those different kinds of things. As I come across books that have been actually transformative for me, whether it has transformed and elevated me in my thinking or in my perception of things or just honestly in any way that is like super powerful for me, that's when I share it. So I've shared this book, I've shared Destined to Reign, and I've shared the Laser Fund, but that's because I had gotten the book a while back and I'm finally diving into it. So that one was a little bit different. But yeah, I'm excited to share with you as much as I possibly can without overwhelming you and sharing with you the things that are actually going to help move the needle, sharing with you the things that help to give you different insight or give you different ways to look at things that will actually help in accomplishing the things that you want to do in life with your business. You know, the kind of life that is reflective of God's promises in your life and to be able to enjoy life and do it genuinely, and honestly. A lot of people walk around with a smile on their face and they're not happy. A lot of people walk around, whether they have a lot of money, they're not happy, or if they have no money, they're still not happy, right? This whole thing about money doesn't buy happiness, poverty doesn't buy happiness for sure. Okay. So yeah, anyway, I hope you get a kick out of this and out of the book. And also let me know what you're reading. Maybe I'll add that to my list as well. Thanks so much.